evening, everybody. It is 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, August 21st, 2019, and I would like to welcome all of you to the clubhouse for the monthly meeting of the Board of Directors of the Pine Ridge Condominium Association at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard. The meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Roll call.
I move that we waive the roll call meeting minutes for last month, and then today too.
We're confused. First we're going to do the roll call and who's in attendance.
Roll call, not this one.
I can call that up. John Fricker, here.
Here.
Janet Mirando.
Here.
Scott Harris. Ken Jerome.
Here.
Absent are Mike Lallen, Isabel Costanzo, and Phil Schifano.
Proof of notice.
Who was properly noticed.
Open forum. Do we have anyone that would like to speak?
We don't have anyone that
We have a maybe.
we have a maybe.
Is the maybe going to speak? Maybe
Sure,
not?
I'll do it. Sure.
Oh, you want to speak anyhow?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the stairwells just real quick, and oh my gosh, I don't know what they charged, but you couldn't have paid me to do what they did. They really did a nice job as far
Yeah,
as
if you get up by the
You
microphone,
can't.
please.
You seriously cannot hear me. Am I being I know, right? But no, they really did a good job with cleaning up and everything. The only thing that would have been nice to see is if we would have had some notice, like the Saturday that it started. I mean, I woke up to my dog barking because they were taping my door shut, and I had no idea that they were going to be taping my door shut, which was fine. I'm glad they did it because it does help with the dust. But again, we didn't know. And then when I did finally come out. Then I see a notice posted that, hey, you know, if there's any damage to any of your stuff, well, tough, we're not responsible. Not from you, but from the contractor. We're going to be doing this work that particular day until, I think it's the 3rd to the 7th.
What happened is that job, grinding the glue, there's no way to quantify how long it's going to take each building, and so for us to give adequate notice, which would be probably 2 days, which I would think I would want at my house, would be, the project would be going on for months, and it would be because they just have to keep moving as they go. So they're trying to notice everybody at least 24 hours ahead of time.
Right.
And it's just a dirty, messy job, unfortunately.
No, I totally get
So,
I totally get that, but they're saying that
but
they're not
yeah.
responsible for anything, but if we don't know that it's happening, we don't have an opportunity to move any of our belongings. Because I had no idea, I had no idea the process of the grinding the glue off or anything, because, you know, I'm not a contractor, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But then when I thought, and then it was all
That's what I was
grinded
saying. I
off.
couldn't even get anyone that would do it for a long time.
And I can believe it,
Yeah.
but then, you know, as far as knowing the processes of it though, because again, like, and I know I'm not the only one, but I cleaned everything up and then they came back the second time, which that's their process, but I didn't know. So then I cleaned up again, and then they came back again. And I mean, 3 times, which is the process, that's fine, but knowing that process, I think if anything like that happens again would be nice to know, so, because I wouldn't have cleaned up.
They just have to get it to bare concrete, how they do it, like what.
No, I understand that,
mean?
but I
So
didn't
I'm
know
not
that at
sure.
the time, and other people didn't as well. And we had, like, everybody would clean their stuff, they'd bring it in, they'd clean their stuff off, they'd think they were done, they'd put it, because it looked, to us, not knowing,
Yeah.
it looked like it was complete, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing, but still, I mean, they were very nice,
Yeah.
they're super nice. The only other issue I have,
And it's a one-time deal, this one, so.
I
at
know,
least
I'm
it's
glad
not
it'll
like
be done. But the other thing that you saw me the other day there
The
with the
gate wasn't
gate.
working for you in the morning.
You know, I tried it again today. It took a really long time for me to get that gate to work for hitting 9. And it might seem like I'm the only one complaining about it, but what I
No, you're not.
Okay, well, are we going, is there any resolution to that? Because Eric, I mean, quite honestly, can I finish? when I tried to talk to you about it, and I said to you like, oh, it's not working, and you're like, well, do you need me to show you how to do it? And I'm like, well, Eric, like, I might not be Jeopardy material, but I know how to hit a number 9, and it doesn't work. So a lot of people here are using the contractor code. And I mean, if that's what we're going to do, then let's just do it. But that's a problem. I mean, if we want this community, there is a contractor code because I've used it to get in. I mean, there is a contractor code.
We can look into upgrading a system to something that works differently than over the tone 9. I guess the newer cell phones or some of the cell services don't use the tone, because that's what it goes off of, is the tone. I believe there's a setting in your phone. I don't know what service you have.
I mean, I had Verizon, I have T-Mobile now.
The DTMF setting or something like that, that can be changed but it's something like you'd probably want to go into T-Mobile and just ask them, and they probably would know how to do that.
Okay.
But basically, the way it works is, you know how on a phone like this, when you dial a number, it goes the tone. It's what's telling it if it's 239 or 954 or whatever it might be. So the tone 9 is what triggers the gate to open.
Right.
And it's not obviously from your phone getting that tone.
Right.
It's
And
getting
others,
whatever
I guess.
computer, cellular signal they're using now. And probably at some point, sooner than we thought, we'll have to update because a lot of people use their cell phone. But in the meantime, if that adjustment can be made, like maybe if you have a chance to stop by a T-Mobile,
Well,
it's like
the
the
other thing-
DTMF setting. It's something to do with the tones. And I can imagine that we're the only community with this problem because every community has
But
this
I also
system.
think some of it is lack of knowledge. And the reason I say that is because one day I was coming home, I was in the resident lane, in my patrol car. There was a van coming through the left side. They went through and a car piggybacked in. I actually stopped them because I thought, well, you know what?
Or that.
Tough.
Right.
You know, they're not supposed to be doing it. But I stopped them and I was like, hey, what are you doing? It was a realtor. And the realtor said that the person, I guess they're selling a condo, but that condo owner, they weren't there, but they didn't know how to get them in the gate. So they didn't know the 910. So I don't know, maybe if you want to maybe
So,
send something out to refresh
realtors?
some memories.
Yeah, I mean, realtors, you're always going to have this random realtor that somebody hired that
Yeah.
is selling a unit and isn't going to follow our rules. Generally, most of the property is sold by 1 or 2 realtors in here. And they know the rules and they follow them and they respect them because they make their living in here. You know, they don't want to screw that up. There is a special code for realtors who need to show property, but that code is not to be given to the client. So
Right. But
I
this is
guess
definitely a
this
realtor.
realtor wasn't smart enough to, like, if I was showing you property and I was the realtor and you were following me in your car, I would say, okay, you pull your car up, and then I would get out of my car, enter the secret code
Yeah.
that only I'm supposed to know because I'm a licensed realtor, let you go
Right.
in, and then say, hang on 1 second, I'll be right in, and then I would let it close, pull my car up, open it. This person obviously,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, that's what they said. They said that the homeowner didn't
Yeah.
know the code even, I guess they didn't even know the 9 to get them in there. So I don't know, maybe if you want to refresh some memories or what, but I mean, like I said, I stopped them
Yeah.
just to find out, so.
Well, that's good.
yeah, I mean, we can send out, we have the whole packet, if you remember when we introduced the gate, it was a very
Yeah, I
comprehensive
remember.
packet, and we've got the instructions printed right on the front of it, so I don't know. I think they're just either gonna do it or they're not gonna do it, and,
But I just wanted to your attention to know, because
Yeah.
I know everybody's concern is having a safe, secure community.
Well, and that-
it's not safe and secure if people are using codes to enter. And listen, I had Domino's Pizza come in, I was like, oh, how did you get in? He's like, oh, we have a code. I was like,
right, so now they know, but
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's been
3
corrected.
something, it was 3 something.
it's been
He didn't,
corrected. But, you know, we have to have codes for certain vendors, but
No, I
what we do is the individual vendor has its individual code. The one that I think word got out on was the realtor code, which actually took a lot longer than I thought for it to really become something. I figured people would find that out sooner and would be changing it more often. We monitor these codes, especially the vendor ones, when they're used. If Avant-Yard's code is entered at 3 o'clock in the morning and something happens the next morning and, you know, can I definitively say it was Avant-Yard? No, but now we've got a clue to go along with our camera, to go along with our, you know, I mean, you're a police officer, you know better than I do.
They should probably
So-
even be changed periodically anyway, just because
So that's
they're
what,
employees.
right, and we, but that's what we did. I mean, each individual vendor has their individual
Right.
code, and yeah, if, I mean, I just said to them, if you fire or lose a questionable employee, let us know, we'll change it, so that way they can't get in
Right.
and you will, but that's the way that works, and that's how we can track. If someone comes in the middle of the night and it's using a code, they either got the code from a vendor or a realtor, or it's that vendor or realtor, because they're the only people that should have it.
Okay, like I said, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. That's great.
It's never worked on my phone. All my contractors at my house, from my house.
I'm gonna tell you guys something, and I'm not being a smart ass, but I am. And I do it to him all the time. It's realtor, 2 syllables, not realtor.
Right.
When I was president of the realtors, that's, you put that into people's heads all the time. I never will forget it. Anyhow,
The issue though is simply the tones on the cell phones, and if you go and have your tone settings changed, I recommend going to the store, you know, the Verizon store, the T-Mobile store. Then the system should work for you fine. There's no perfect system, you know, and I don't think we want to go back to the old way where it would open and 10 cars could go through. I don't think we want to spend the money to have a full-time guard standing up there, so this is like the middle ground here. Is it perfect? No, but if I could come up with something perfect, I would be installing it all over town and not here, yeah.
I'm not down to talk, but can I say something?
Well,
I'll allow you.
Thank you. You're saying allow 10 cars in? I came through the gate today and I got down to the stop sign before I saw the gate close behind me. Yeah.
Every once in a while, when people drive over, it doesn't trigger.
People too fast.
Well, it seems like when I do it, but people, if you drive too fast through that gate, it's not going to trigger the loop in the ground. I mean, it's the way the machine works is there's a wire embedded into the asphalt road. And when your car tires cross over that wire, it triggers the gate to go down. If your car drives too fast over those, or it really can't miss it because it's a horizontal wire across the road. But if it drives too fast or it doesn't trigger it for whatever reason, then it's on a timer. I think it's about 1 minute. And yeah, you'll be down at the stop sign before it closes because that's 1 minute. If you want to make sure it closes behind you, one way to try and make sure is to drive a little bit slower. Like, we have to work together on this. The system is what it is. This is how gates are triggered to close, is by putting loops in the road, and then when your car passes through it, it's safe for the gate to close. You know, that's the way it's done.
Okay, let's go on, please. Reading of the minutes or approval of the minutes from the past meeting.
I move that the reading and the approval of the previous meeting minutes be waived.
Somebody gonna second that? I guess. I second. Okay. The motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we'll now have the manager's report.
Good evening. We've had some wild weather lately. We had some wild lightning the other night, electrical storms and things like that. That actually really did mess with our gate system. But community remains stable. The projects are on track, even though they're a little messy. Dog park, couple little finishing touches in the works, but I know a lot of our four-legged friends are already using it, enjoying it, and I haven't heard any overly negative commentary, I guess, because it's out of the way enough that it doesn't really bother anyone, so hopefully that works out. The hallway flooring project, talked about a little bit earlier. I agree with Christine that Elias Brothers has done a commendable job so far with the project. Not a perfect job, but a commendable job for a very difficult one. Sealing of the floors now has begun, which is one of the final steps. That's where we waterproof the concrete and make sure that there won't be any further damage, and especially the areas where we repaired damage, it won't reoccur. And it's a special sealer that we use. It's called Foxfire P1007. It's very expensive, but it's supposed to be the best, and it's a one-time application ever, and it works forever. Or that's what they say. Right, that's what they say. I know many of you are anxious because this project is going to end up taking about a month and a half from start to finish. We started beginning of July, and we started middle of July, about July 15th, and we probably won't finish until close to Labor Day. So it's taking a little longer than we thought. It's because the grinding and the damage that we found underneath was very difficult. There was actually one 3-story building that a landing had deteriorated so badly, the concrete underneath, and we have some pictures, that the entire landing had to be chipped out, removed, the rebar, basically however they refurbished the rebar to make it strong enough again, and then they pour special concrete that so that it will be solid and stay in place. I mean, and it was a big job. So that was on the first building. That was one that we anticipated actually, because the initial problem that kind of alerted the board 8 or 9 years ago that carpet on stairwells isn't a good idea happened in that building on that floor there. So maybe they should have checked the landing at that time, would have been a good idea. But anyway, it's all fixed now and there's a brand new one. But there was some extensive concrete repairs. You see the cracking and stuff like that we repaired in your hallway, but there are some spots where you'll see a lot more than that. Another thing that we're doing as part of the project is something we call it's drill and fill into the stanchions of the guardrail posts. The first 2 are exposed to the elements. I mean, they get hit with water, rain, and they're also the first one people grab them, you know. So what we're having done is to reinforce those stanchions on the first 2 posts that go into the concrete, as well as on the 3rd floor, the center landing. They drill and then they inject it full of epoxy, and the epoxy goes down and out around and fills in any holes or any gaps that are around that post and really solidifies it. And it, at a safety seminar we went to, it was brought up, handrails, safety rails, how those things, well, a loose one, something to keep people safe, can actually cause an injury and you could really be liable. So it's a good time to do it and a good thing to do. But give us a couple of weeks. They should be starting to paint very soon. We ordered the paint yesterday, so that means it's coming very soon. And soffit and gutter repair, it's been an ongoing issue. I'll be glad when it's fully resolved. I was able to get a vendor that had equipment able to replace the areas of missing soffit, so that was one thing. However, Frank's Roofing has not come through with their promise to take care of the couple sections of gutters that are faulty, and I have not seen those done yet. I've impressed upon them the board's disappointment on this issue. In fact, I sent a note to Brett yesterday, because I was just reading it to refresh my memory of what I wrote to him. That was pretty tough, and basically says, like, you're jeopardizing the next contract because you promised us you were going to do this right away, and you know, we did everything we promised. So,
You already pay them for it?
do we pay them for the job to fix the gutter? No, we paid them to replace the roofs that they replaced, yes. But any questions from the audience we can take at the end. Street seal coating, last month I announced seal coating days in August. Once we started to schedule the Elias guys, and I saw the scope of the job that it was going to be and the grinding and all that, I said we are going to have a true mess on our hands if we start spraying tar at the same time as we have the dust. So I made the call and we decided to push it off basically a month right now. So we've got blocked off the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th for seal coating, and that was out of necessity because it would have been a total disaster, I think, with the tar and the dust. Painting, we're scheduled to paint end of this year, beginning of next year. In talking with a lot of the painters, that's actually a good job to do during season. I know most of the jobs we do out of season. That's a good one to do during season, for the fact of that we go in and we paint all the lanais, and I think people like to be home when someone goes in their house and paints their lanai rather than Bruce or I or whoever opening the door. It's nice if you're home. So I think people like that, so we're going to try to set it up for January if the board votes, which means they should probably by September or October choose a vendor and have a contract hammered down by November 1st to start in January painting the buildings. Insurance, last month, Janet and Scott announced the renewal of our property insurance policy. And Janet stated that there was a number of things that we requested to have insured that previously had not been. One of them, like the maintenance shed. That's something that we should definitely have insured. We weren't sure if that was going to add a little bit to our premium. We anticipated a small increase, but our agent was able to talk to the insurance company and get all the coverage at no additional charge. So that was very good. We're in the process, we're going to sell the lift that we own with the cherry picker. Not only will we net a pretty good resale on it, it'll also allow us to eliminate a $2,400 a year insurance policy for a machine that we don't use. Ever since we went to the LED lighting, we really don't have to change light bulbs, and that's what its purpose originally was. Some of you have damage around your skylights from the roofing, and we'll be starting to repair that next week. Last thing is security. Officer Browning, I guess she's chased some people out of here that haven't supposed to be here. I've seen that in her reports. What I've instructed them to do is try to get these people so we can trespass them, but they tend to run away when they see the flashing light. Speeding and stop sign are the #1 things that they tell me are the problem. And it's not just the residents, it's their guests, or it's vendors, or it's people that just don't care. You know, it's the pizza guy, you know. There's a couple different ways we can handle it. I've asked the company to bring us some solutions rather than just the problems, and they're willing to pull people over and give them warnings and things like that. I haven't given them any specific instruction on what to do. I kind of say use your judgment now, but that's something the board's probably going to want to talk about and see how far we want to go. The security company likes the community, and I think overall they're doing a good job. It seems like the Lady Sharon, who is our officer, she seems to care about the place, and that's the most you can ask for. That's all I have for tonight, but if anybody ever has any specific questions or any individual issues, please reach out to me. I'm all month long. You don't have to wait for the board meeting.
Thank you. Okay, next is the treasurer's report. And Scott, I'll go ahead and read your report if that's okay. Okay, thank you. The association finances remain stable, while some line items are running higher than expected, mostly due to necessary repairs. We have found balancing savings in other areas. Meter sheds, deteriorating and storm-damaged enclosures are being replaced with sturdier structures. I'm sure you all have seen some of those. The roofing, prudent repairs to the roof decking and replacement guttering were added to the roof project. Added cost is covered by reserves. Hallway flooring, carpet caused damage warned against by our engineer has been found in some areas. Full mitigation has added to the cost of carpet removal and hallway resurfacing. And I wanted to tell you something else while you were up here talking about the time. I have a friend, she's on the very first bits of that stuff. And this morning she said she was wakened by those guys doing some more pounding where she is. So don't think you're all over with that. Just hopefully it'll be over
It's
soon.
been a big job, a lot of us. You've even seen me how running around with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's really,
Pool deck, we will try to have an ease of access solution for the pool before the beginning of the season. Current accounts receivable consist of 27 owners. 1 person is at the attorney for collections, 23 persons in the collections process. 3 owe small amounts. Eric will report on mediation of the accounts and collection.
Yeah, so I would just expound on 2 things. The pool deck, I think that's Scott saying, we have a lot of people who have mobility issues and have trouble getting in and out of the pool, but they don't necessarily want to go in one of those chair things to get in, nor do we probably want to buy one of those chair things, because it's a whole thing, to put them in, and they don't, a lot of times end up wanting to go in just because of that. So the idea was brought to me that if we just had 2 rails, and people could go down the stairs with 2 hands, that they could get in and out of the pool with some dignity, keep their dignity the way they've always gone in and out of the pool, and still be able to go to the pool because that's really good therapy and things like that. So it's a little bit of a project because you have to drill into the stair of the pool and that type of thing, but we're going to look into getting some numbers and doing it to minimum one side. I think it really should be done to both sides because if someone's sitting over there and they have a mobility issue, coming over to the other side would be that. But that's what Scott means with that. And as far as the collections, 27 owners in collections, don't be overly concerned. We just had our July billing, and most of those people are people that maybe forgot or didn't get their mail or something for July, but I anticipate that number will go down very quickly. Over 90 days past due is the 3 units that he referred to.
All right, the balance sheet and income statement for July are attached to the treasurer's report. Association financial documents are always available for review. Okay, that's that. Then I don't have anything else really to tell you. It seems to be we're doing, trying to get the things done that we've been trying to do. I don't believe that any committees have any reports at this time. You don't, do you?
No.
Okay. And so we have no old or new business really to come forward. And so now we're at a point in the meeting with anyone that has any questions concerning the meeting we've had. Please come forward and ask your questions.
And I'll add something else we did this month that I didn't talk about was the landscaping alongside our new wider path. It really
That was nice.
was the finishing touch. Yeah, that was the icing on the cake.
Does anybody have any questions? Hey, you guys, you're all going to go home before it starts to rain. Okay. Well, if you have a question, please come.
It's not a question, it's just a comment that, there's a few drainage issues because of all the rain. And I just noticed that the drains, that have that kind of a box that have
Yeah.
the screens over them.
We probably need to clean the front of those with those heavy rains.
They do.
That's a good,
Yeah, I've been
very
wanting-
good comment.
I've actually
Thank
been
you.
wanting to go out with like a big metal rake, and because there's leaves that press up against them. So, and it makes it difficult for the mowers to even mow in a lot of places. because
Yeah.
a
Don't
lot
do
of
it. I'll
places
get
rain.
some metal rake guys. You don't have to do it, okay?
You don't have to go there. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. If we're going to get rid of the cherry picker, how are we going to continue to take care of the gutters? Because where I live, the gutter has not been cleaned out since I've been there, and the rain just
We don't
pops,
use the cherry.
pops, pops.
We don't use the cherry picker to
Okay,
clean
well,
gutters.
what can we do about this gutter situation? I mean, my husband wants to go
I don't
to
know
it.
what
He
building.
just said
you're
he's
in.
going to get people in to clean
I'm
them.
not sure what building what your building you're in.
Windsor
That,
Club.
this sounds more like an individual issue.
Okay.
So this would be something that you would want to talk about, not in front of the whole group. You
Okay.
just come and see me.
Yes, ma'am.
On the gate issue, if I hit 9 one time, it doesn't work. I just keep hitting 9 until it cuts it off.
That's what I
and the
always
gate
did
goes
where
up.
I used to live and they had that system. That's what I always did on my phone.
Just keep hitting
Well,
9.
people, I have only had to hit 9 once, and it has worked every time. It must be the way I hit 9. Okay, guys, keep
It's
trying.
like the elevator, you have to push the button.
Yeah.
Everyone pushes it, but you have to push it.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Betty, please.
That's cool, appreciate it.
If other
I just
people,
wanted to say something positive. I've lived here over 20-some years,
Oh, is that what you
and
said?
this is the best, again, and I believe Eric is a great leader, along with the board. It's just, it gets better and better. And I hear negative things, but I just want to say positive things at the end.
thank you very
To let
much.
you
We
all know
appreciate
you did a great
hearing
job.
some of that. Thank you. Okay, with no other questions, this meeting is now adjourned. Half hour, guys. Yeah, we'll put that in the record.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks.